Karlissa, nah, you panicked when you saw him crash out in that mall. Ronny was nowhere on the live stream, not in the car, not at the hospital, nowhere, but because you are so against Chrisean, you believe the lies faster than you accept the truth. If Blueface were out, Ronny would have never tried because Blue would have knocked him to fuck out. Ronny gives abusive relationship. When Blue was out, he was well-mannered and, as y'all like to say, demure, but now he's feeding into the delusion. This isn't what you do. He was aggressive, allegedly grabbing at the baby and Chrisean. She told him in Subway, clear as day, CJ isn't yours. So far, the people who contributed to this new level of obsession are Karlissa, the girl who DM Ronny asking him questions about the baby, and gassed him about paternity, because she was curious, donut and yes, because the only reason he flipped on Ronny is because Ronny turned on him during his live stream. When he called Ronny, he asked Donut what he refuck did he want, those in his inbox gassing him, Ajay, Zio, Dakari, and all the people Chrisean left behind who feel like she owes them something, moving along.
So now I think the thing is, so I think everybody saw or feel as if you encouraged, or asked questions around the Ronnie and Tasha K interview stuff, and and they saw you kind of go back and forth with Tasha K about that. I guess something that I'm thinking about is how did you really feel after the interview though, watching Ronnie do the mall thing? Like, yeah, you came online and you shared some things at the moment, but reflecting on it and having the moment to reflect on that now compared to doing so immediately.
I'm still at a loss for words because when I go, because I check to see like, okay, was he trying to be? I checked for his words, and then I see people twisting his words up too. See people saying that he said, I forget what it was, but it's like I didn't hear that. Where did they hear that from? Like people are just running with their own narratives. Oh, he never told me that he was in the room with the baby. He said he was with her, and he told me that before he did that interview. So maybe I already preconditionally knew that he wasn't talking about in the delivery room. But the people that know that he was with her prior to that know that. So I'm like, is they just lying too? Like it's a lot to watch. I mean, it's a lot to watch people try to make somebody say something that they didn't say. Like I'm learning a lot from it all. I'm honestly learning a lot of watching people, even people that get on here and say, well, the only person was in there was this person and that person. Is like he didn't say that he was in there though. He said he knew, meaning somebody might have told him. I never heard him say, I cut the umbilical cord or this person cut it. It sounded like he might have heard it from somebody to me.
But what about the safety factor, right? Like, what about knowing that Blueface, like you said earlier, Blueface, maybe Chrisean would give him a call and maybe he would, jump to her rescue. So just knowing that he has that sense of security over her, and protecting her, how did you feel seeing that mall incident?
I think he would probably want to know. I think he would have probably been pissed at that because I was pissed. I think he probably would, but still would want him to have his closure. Like, it's not your kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I feel. I feel like I want her to just flex on him and let him know, like, that's not y'all family kid. Because, like I said, when he originally came to me, it was like, my mom and my mom's sisters, my aunts, my family want to know. And I feel bad because I'm like, I don't want him to feel like I'm out here claiming their baby and they think it's their baby.
Here's the thing I have a question for, because earlier today when you said something about the professor using Chrisean Jesus, whatever, right? And how you got that grandmother instant, right?
Wait,
did that kick in?
You said the professor? What professor?
I don't know. You know how you said something in the live earlier? Somebody was telling you about some teacher or something using Chrisean Jesus as, an example to tell a lesson, right?
Uh-huh.
So you know how you said in that video that your grandmother instinct kind of kicked in when you read that, right? Explain that instant when you saw, Ronnie run up to Chrisean at the mall and not knowing for a second what was going to happen next. Like, were you not worried for Chrisean Jesus at that time? Were you not worried for Chrisean? Just you being a mom as well, knowing at times that you were alone with your kids and be out there or whatever, knowing that you were pursuing certain things as well. So maybe at some point,
honestly, I was
how did you feel?
My first impression was, I'll be honest with you, was like, okay, maybe they're doing that for clout. That was because I'm like, how would anybody know I'm at the mall? So a lot of different things went through my head. I honestly thought, okay, maybe they on some clout mission together, because it's a lot of stuff going on that I don't understand. So my first initial reaction was like, was they together at the mall and then maybe somebody saw them? Like, why would they just be in the mall together ever? You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never just been at the mall and one of my exes knew I was at the mall. So that was my first initial. And then as I'm watching it and she's getting frustrated with him and looking like distressed, I felt bad. Like, why would he just go show up to a mall? But like I said, I was at a loss at how he would just find her in the mall.
Yeah, no, and you heard that he changed that story a couple times, right? About how he was told.
I haven't heard about any stories after that.
Didn't send you that? So he had said at one point it was a family member that told him she was at the mall. Then he went on somebody else's interview and said, led it to believe that it was one of her people that did it. Then he went on somebody else's interview and said that, it was her and him that came up with the plan. And then he just, he switched it almost like 3 or 4 times about what went down and how it went down. Just like how he's switching a lot of his other stories. We're actually about to compile some stuff together, just, showing all the lies and the different answers. But to me, I think that's part of the frustration from some of the viewers, right? Is they're seeing these things, they're seeing the inconsistencies. and I think we're hoping for a different response from you at some point. You know what I'm saying? Like you claim that you understand that your son protects Krishan Jesus to an extent. You know, would you not extend your olive branch a little bit while he's behind bars to like? I know you think things are toxic, but in reality, if you accept it for what it is, are they not family to some extent? You
When I
know, and how do you?
when I showed up to go visit him, my son was not in nowhere in my presence. I never called him and said, "Hey, I'm gonna go by and with the cameras and see the baby," or none of that. I never told him that. Never told him I was going. So I've never needed him to stand up and do my part. I've never denied any of my grandkids. I've never denied him. I've never said, ever since I had that dream, y'all have heard me say 99 times, no matter what happens, you would have to prove to me that he's not. Now, maybe you new to that. I don't know if you heard that, but I told everybody when I had a dream that he was mine. I've accepted it from that point because I dream about all my babies.
Hmm.
To the lady that's in here saying I said he wears a helmet. You see what I'm saying? And I know she knows exactly what I said, but she's still gonna get in here and say he wears a helmet. I said he wears a helmet. I said, and I'm gonna say it again for all the slow people in the back, because this is my stance on everything. I said if he wears a helmet, I would wear a helmet with him.
Yeah, I remember
Okay,
that. I remember
but
that,
but
and I
there
remember that context.
you see
I
what
think
she
what
just said.
frustrates people though is that they feel as if sometimes you play on to what people are saying. So, for example, I think the frustration about that is, we would never hear you speak about any of the other children potentially wearing a helmet and you riding with them with a
Yes, I
helmet.
would say that if they say, "Oh, you Javon is slow or he gonna wear a helmet," I'm gonna wear a helmet with him. That's when they said Callie. Oh, Callie's fat. She looks pregnant. What did I
But
say?
you see the degree of difference when it comes to Krishan Jesus Porter, though, right? It's a whole
I mean,
different
that's
situation.
because the
That's
fan base is
why we
like
need people to
the
step up a
fan
bit.
base is just ridiculously creepy. So I mean, they said Callie was pregnant because she was fat. I said, "Yep, she pregnant with a bag," meaning she eating. But they took it and told her. I said, "Your mama said you pregnant." That's just my humor is my humor, and I'm